Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to share with you my curriculum picks for my 13-year-old who will be in 8th grade next year. So this is what I picked for her for 8th grade. All right, let's start with science. So we really like Science Mom, and so that is what we are going to continue with for 8th grade. So we have their chemistry. This is grades 4 to 5, and my son did this year. He is very much a science kid. But my daughter hasn't really had a chemistry yet, and so I decided since we have this, we're going to use it. And actually, I'm still working on this right now, but looking at, there's a lot of middle school science standards covered in Science Mom's chemistry. So I think we'll be okay, but I'm trying to kind of go through it and see of the next generation science standards for middle school, what's covered in Science Mom and what's not covered, so I can see where I need to supplement. This is a work in progress, but it's, yeah. So in addition to using Science Mom, my daughter really learns well from her. I am also going to be adding in this conceptual physical science explorations. Now, this has chemistry in it, but it also has a lot of other physical science. We will not be doing this whole thing. But if there's areas that I feel like the Science Mom curriculum is missing a middle school standard, which it's likely going to be because it's designed for 4th to 5th grade, we will do readings in here. So let's see. Now we will not be using, you can get videos from conceptual science to go along with this. We aren't going to do those with this. I find the Science Mom videos to be much more engaging. And so while we have the option to use Science Mom, we're going to. And then we will just supplement with some readings from here if I think that it's necessary. So I just bought this used on eBay. So we will be adding in some things from here. This is their middle school physical science textbook. So we will pull from here when needed. And I also grabbed the practice book as well. Again, I don't know how much we're going to use from this, but that's still something I'm figuring out as I get into the nitty-gritty of our planning, but this will be the bulk of our science. Now, normally this would be like a semester-long course, and then we would do something else for second semester, and we may do that, but I still need to figure out how much adding this into this is going to add to the length of the program. So this could take us all year. I don't know yet, but we also have middle school astronomy from Science Mom that my son is actually going to do as well. And my daughter would like to do this. So likely, if we can fit it, she'll do chemistry first semester and astronomy second semester. I have not printed out the notes yet for astronomy, so I don't have anything to show you for that, but that is where we're headed for 8th grade science. Let's move on to language arts. The main thing that we're going to be doing for language arts for 8th grade is Hearth and Story. This is their 7th and 8th grade language arts. We're going to be doing both the literature component and the like grammar and writing part as well. So this will cover, I have too much in this binder, just so you know. It won't be this tight when we go to use it. This will cover vocabulary, and I don't have all of the vocabulary components in here right now. And then it will cover novel studies as well. So for the novels, we have A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. We have Haroun and the Sea of Stories by Salman Rushdie. We have Animal Farm by George Orwell. I got the novel, and then I also got her the graphic novel. I did that for both of my kids. I picked a one of the novels they would be reading, and I got a graphic novel to go along with it. For my sons, I don't think we're going to use it because it's a little bit too graphic for him. We'll see though. But anyway, so this is the one I chose for her. And then there's also one where they get to pick their own novel or play, I think. Let's see. Yeah, a novel or play. So they'll get to choose, she'll get to choose what she wants to do for that one. So those are kind of the 4 components to the novel study. And then there's also short story, which is Oscar Wilde. So there's a bunch of short story studies in here. There's also poetry, so we'll be doing that as well. We are going to work through the writing, and I will scaffold if need be. But I think that after going through IEW this past year that she'll be able to do this, but we'll see. So we'll be doing the writing. We also are going to be doing the brain food. And the brain food actually has a book with it that they'll be reading as well, called It's Not Bragging If It's True. And then we also have grammar for writers. Now we will also be doing Fix-It Grammar, which I'll show you in a minute. But I have not done Hearth and Story grammar before, and I looked through this and I think it looks really good. And so I'd like to give it a shot this year, and we will see. And then I already showed you the poetry and the short stories. So that is the bulk of her language arts. We also will be doing level 4 of Fix-It Grammar, Mowgli, and Shere Khan. And I picked this for a couple of reasons. One, because I just think Fix-It Grammar works really well for my kids. This is not super intensive, which means it should work okay with also doing the grammar in here. And I really want to focus this year on tying our grammar and our writing together. And because of something I'm adding to history, it's going to work, I think, really well with Fix-It Grammar. So we have that as well. So for history, we are going to be using Core Knowledge, History of the United States. And this has 2 volumes, pre-colonial to the 1800s and then 1800s to the 2000s. I have so much stuff to show you and so much stuff to say, which is, I think, why I've been putting off doing this video. So we are going to use this as our spine. I did a flip through video of this a couple of years ago. I think that's how long I've had this. But we're going to use this as our spine. I like a lot of the components in here. I like the vocabulary. I like the writer's corner. There's a kind of little research topics are sprinkled throughout, and things like that. So we are going to be using a lot of those and adding to this. I can't tell you exactly what that's going to look like right now because I'm still in the process of planning it. But we will be adding books to this. And one of the reasons that we chose Hearth and Story this year is because there are not a ton of novels in it, because we're going to be reading a lot of books with history. And again, I'm still figuring out what that's going to look like, but there will be novels. I literally have an entire library cart of books behind me that we could put in for history. There will be novels that we read along with the history. There will be books like, I have this whole Race to the Truth series. I think there's 4. So we may choose to read some of these. I also have a lot of just really good nonfiction history books that I would like to incorporate. My problem right now is picking what we can realistically accomplish and recognizing that this is not going to be her only exposure to U.S. history. but I'd like to bring in as many different perspectives and sources as I can to kind of really make this even more robust. And I also have all of the ever popular Indigenous Peoples History of the United States, Queer History of the United States, A Different Mirror, Young People's History of the United States. So these are all things that we have as resources. I just don't know yet exactly how it's going to look. So I will do videos on this when I kind of figure it all out, but for right now, this is the plan. I also had purchased the Oak Meadow Civics. This is for 8th grade. But actually you can see my note here. Do we have time for this in 8th grade, or should we save it for 9th? And I don't know, because when I decided to do this, they have a civics and economics component that goes along with this. And I thought, you know, it makes sense probably to do this. And I don't think to do this if we're doing this. And I don't think we have time to do both. So as of right now, my thought is that I might save this for 9th grade. We will do it. I just don't know that it's going to happen this year. But I wanted to show that anyway, because it was originally in my pile for 8th grade. All right, to go along with this, I am adding in writing, because this kind of naturally includes writing with these little writer's corner prompts. And even though we already have writing in Hearth and Story, if you followed me for a while, you know that writing is really important to me, and I use a lot of different resources to try to really help my kids strengthen their writing skills. I think it's really important. And so one of the things that I want to do a little bit more of this year is really get some more practice in the sentences that they're writing. The style techniques and things like that she's using to construct her sentences. And so I decided to get one of the IEW, I don't know what you call these writing lessons, but they use the structure and style method. But it's very similar to the people and places in our community that I did with my son this past year. And the reason I chose this one, well, I thought it would pair well with history, but I'm not going to use it quite as it's written. The reason I like these is because I really kind of light bulb moment that I'm sure a lot of people knew for a long time, realized this year how effective it is when you can tie your grammar instruction directly into your writing instruction. And I saw that with my son when he used the people and places in our community along with Fix-It Grammar. And what I like, IEW structure and style was great. It's also very intense. I feel like these are less intense, and these give you more practice on a lot of the stylistic techniques and the grammar. And let's see, so you get style practice. You get practice with, like here with the who, which clause, and you're directly practicing it within your writing. And not that you're not doing that in structure and style, but I just feel like this gives more practice pages to do that. And so my thought is this: I don't know that I'm necessarily going to like all of the articles that IEW has chosen. I don't know that they're presenting history or gender roles or anything like that in the same way that I want to present it. They may not. A couple that I've read have been fine, but at any rate, I don't know that I'm going to use the articles that they have included in here, the source texts. I think that we might just try to use our text or some articles that I find along with whatever the theme is that they have in here, and then really just be implementing the stylistic techniques and you know, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm thinking, that this will be an additional writing resource that we use. And I don't have it here, but we have all the levels of WriteSource, which I've done a separate video on, which is like a public school textbook. And I will use that as needed for scaffolding if we're struggling in an area like in Hearth and Story or something like that. But I think this is going to allow me to really kind of hone in and connect the grammar and the writing in a way that will hopefully strengthen like just the structure of our sentences. So we'll see. That's my plan for this. I bought a used copy off of eBay. It wasn't very expensive. I have no intention of getting the student workbook. We are going to work from here. I'm going to take the ideas from here. If I feel it necessary, we can rewrite some of this stuff on a separate sheet of paper, but really more I'm looking to use this as a guide, and kind of adding our own history into it, if that makes sense. So that is kind of our plan for both history and language arts. And it's a lot. And it's actually very overwhelming for me right now to really kind of decide what books we're going to use and what books we need to let go of. So we'll see. There will be more coming on that, but that is our plan for right now. All right. Let's see what else I have. So we have a few books for what I call kind of like life skills. And one of them, I don't know if we're going to do this year. We had planned to do this current year that we're wrapping up right now, and we started it. And I just realized we did not have enough time to do this the way that I wanted to do it, to give this the attention that it needed. So I don't know if we're going to do this in 8th grade or if I'm going to save this for high school, but it's a possibility, so I thought I would show it to you. But the two that I do intend to get through this year are these two. So we have Eat That Frog, 21 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. And I saw this on, your channel name just left. It's the Bailey Academy. But I saw this on another Homeschool Mom's channel. So yeah, I would like to get through that. And then I also would like to work through Becoming a Critical Thinker. This is a workbook to help students think well in an age of disinformation. So I would like to work through this with her as well. And I have the parent book that came out first. So those are kind of the life skills things that we are going to do for 8th grade. We also have art. We will be doing some art in our group subjects. That video will be coming probably a week from when this one is out. So we will be doing some family style art lessons. But I always like my kids to have something that's just theirs art-wise that they're working on. And so I think I'm going to use this with my daughter. My son did it this year, and I debated whether this was too young or if I should bump up to their secondary level visual arts unit study. I have it, but I think I'm going to save that for high school. And I don't think this is going to be too young for her. I think that for her, we will just build some of these units out a little bit, meaning I will pick different activities and notebooking prompts for her than say I may have done for my son. There will be more involved in it probably for her. So this just has an introduction to visual arts, history of visual arts, color theory, elements of art and principles of design, art and nature, visual arts and world culture, patterns and mathematics and art, the art of words, sculpture, textile art, painting, photography, drawing, indigenous art, mixed media art, street art, printmaking, mosaics, chalk and pastel art, and music and visual arts. So I've shared about this before. As I said, my son did this last year, but this is what we're going to use as kind of our spine for art for her. And again, I will probably likely be adding other things in for her, possibly video tutorials and other kind of books and projects as well, but that will be our spine for art. My thought was that we would do this the first one semester, and then we would do psychology the other semester. This is also from Harbor and Sprout. This is their another primary level unit study, psychology. Again, I wasn't sure, is this too young for her? But I really don't think it is. I think there is so much good information in here. And again, I can build this out if I feel the need to. But she will be doing this as well. Let me show you. I believe I did a video on this as well. But you can see here everything that is covered. Hopefully it's all in the frame there. So and likely for her, again, I would just pick notebooking or activity prompts that maybe perhaps are a little more involved, or build them out if I don't think they're involved enough. But usually there's enough variety in their selections here that you can find something for multiple ages. So I think that will be great. All right, we're almost done. So for a language, this year we used a Lively Latin Big Book, Volume 1, and I have Volume 2 for next year. My daughter and I are currently kind of in discussion on what this is going to look like next year. This has been difficult because I am not learning it along with her, which was the original plan. So I feel like I'm not as able to help her when she's struggling, and that bothers me, and I don't want our time to be wasted. So I've been back and forth, but what we think we might do is we're reviewing Volume 1 right now. She's finished it. We're going back and kind of reviewing and seeing where there might be you know, some gaps or things. So we may take part of next year to visit some of Volume 1 and then move on to Volume 2. She really wants to continue it. So that's the plan as of right now. But if we get into next year and I feel like we're struggling in other areas, this likely will be the first thing to go if I feel like we have too much. But that's the plan as of right now. She really enjoys it. Okay, and the last thing that I have, I think, unless I forgot anything, is math. And we are doing Denison pre-algebra. So I have looked through this book pretty extensively, and I think that she's going to be able to do this. I think it's going to be a good fit for her. We will see, but that's our plan for math right now. I also have, because I bought a bunch of them on eBay, a bunch of different levels all at once, I also have Math UC pre-algebra. So if I feel like we need to supplement this, we have another option. But my plan is for this to be our main math curriculum. So I think that's everything. I have a lot of work to do, mostly with history and figuring out what that's going to look like. That is going to be my biggest challenge. So I will likely soon, in the next maybe month or so, start doing some kind of planning and prepping videos so you can see how that's going. But history and then probably psychology and visual arts will be where a lot of my focus has to go for her. I will also be doing a video with scheduling and kind of how we're going to fit all of these items in to our day. Because right now, everything that I've shown you fits on a schedule. At any rate, that will be coming at some point as well. 8th grade to me is very stressful because I need to make sure she's set up for high school. So yeah, if you've been there, done that, I'd love to hear any tips you have. Or if you've used any of this curriculum and have thoughts on it, I'd love to hear that too. that's all I've got. So if you have any questions for me, or like I said, you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will talk to you down there. Thanks for watching.